Hello, sweet souls. I'm Danny Palacio, and this is a Waking Moment podcast. If this is the first time you're joining, welcome to this beautiful community of people who are exploring and pondering what is their truth and how do they express that with more authenticity. And if you are a repeating listener, thank you so much for all of your support. And I encourage everyone to please repost and share the podcast with as many friends and family, coworkers, people that you know out on your social media channels. It really helps support this podcast and getting the messages out to a broader audience. So, new episode today. It's going to focus on soul contracts. What is a soul contract? How do we get a soul contract? Did we really agree to a soul contract? And did our ancestors have anything to do with some of the soul contracts we might be carrying? If you don't know about me, I am an energetic intuitive healer. I work with frequency and vibration to find root cause and clear any stuck energies that may be inhibiting your ability to fully live your authentic life. I also work with the Akashic records, so I'm gifted to be able to hear, see, and feel energies, tap into other people's souls with consent, and really look at their overall soul experience. So as you know, or maybe you don't, but a soul is pure energy. It's a frequency and it can never be destroyed. So a soul continues and is eternal forever. And there is a place where the activities, experiences of that particular soul for the various incarnations are held. And they're currently called the Akashic records. I think of it as a big library that's based on sound and light, frequency and language. When I've been in there, and I've been doing readings for years now, and I can't even tell you how many readings I've done for people and for myself. I check in with my Akashic record quite often. But what I have discovered and started to fully understand more recently is because I've been pondering the soul more about what is it? How do I stay connected to it? How do I allow my soul to lead my explorations, my interests, my connections? And in that, I've also been looking at my ancestors. So these are your blood relatives, your DNA, the things that are flowing through your veins. It's amazing, right? When you think about how they've used DNA to identify people, particularly in criminal cases where they don't have anything but a hair or a drop of blood. And they can tell who it is, what the DNA makeup is, and they can match that because it's a unique signature. And so when I think about it from that perspective, I think, gosh, my ancestors from both sides, both my parents, my father and my mother, and then their parents and great grandparents and great great grandparents, and it goes back until when? To the beginning of time? Do we trace our DNA all the way back from the very first human that was ever created? I kind of think we do. Do I understand the scope or magnitude of what I just said? Probably not. So I wanted to come on because I think people talk about karma and they talk about things like, why is this happening to me? Why do I always choose? Or why do I always something? And there are those of you out there that don't like to think about things in always and forever. Generalities are not maybe the healthiest way to perceive or think about things. And you can't say everyone all the time. I tend to agree with that. And I think it can be rather controlling. I think we're all intelligent human beings. And so we can understand when somebody uses a word like always or forever or assumes that it's the same. I don't think anybody actually assumes that, to be honest. At least I don't. Anyway, I've gone down a rat hole here, so I'm going to pull us back to soul contracts. This is my understanding, and I welcome your input. And if you have a different perspective, I'd love to hear it. This is based off of my own soul experience in this incarnation and what I've learned and what I've remembered about contracts. When we think of a contract, we think of a legal contract between yourself and someone or something, right? An institution, a person. And it's kind of similar. At a soul level, Not everybody gets to be human. That's why there's multiple ways to incarnate. And when you are human, it's such a rare gift. So I just want to pause on that thought for just a second. It's such a rare gift to be human. I want you to really take that in, because not everybody gets to be human. And the fact that you are human, that you are in a body, says a lot. It says you're important. It says you have meaning. It says that you have purpose. It says that you have a unique experience that you and your soul and your ancestors helped create. And so please don't take it for granted. Life is short. So speak your truth, share your love, and really celebrate that every day you wake up and you're human, it's a gift. Okay, so on a contract level, since I said not everybody gets to be human, there are things that can get negotiated before your soul incarnates. And your ancestors, your blood relatives, want you to have a human body. They want you to incarnate. And there are lots of reasons why they do. They want the lineage to continue. They want some of their incompletions or their regrets or their, I didn't know I could choose this. Those kind of learnings and lessons from their soul experience, they want to pass that on to you as a direct descendant. So they negotiate. It's in my mind, it's kind of like, okay, we got an opportunity to send someone down, a soul. Who's it going to be? And it's going to go to this particular, set of humans. And the ancestors go, pick this soul, pick this soul. That's how I see it in my head. I don't know if it actually works that way, but I like it to think of it like that, because it means that your ancestors are always on your side. They're acting on your behalf. And so we can get them from our ancestors. So our ancestors could pass down an unfinished set of business or detail or experience that they would love to have completion on. And they believe that they can do that through their descendants. I feel that that is very true. Our DNA not only makes us who we are, it also says who we've been and who we've been connected to. And so if it can choose eye color, the DNA, and it can decide hair color, it can decide body shape, it can decide if you're predisposition to a particular illness or a condition, it can definitely hold contracts around, in this life, I want you to go experience, explore, discover, create, heal. That happens. And if you think about some of your things in your life, like things that you've questioned, like, why am I this way? Why do I think this way? Why do I act this way? Why do I have maybe illnesses or conditions in the body when other people don't? A lot of it is DNA. And on a soul level, not only can you have contracts or agreements with your ancestors, but you can have them with other souls. So I've done a lot of readings, and in my own personal life, I've met a lot of people where we had agreed at an energetic soul level that we would come into each other's lives, that we would offer an experience. And I can't say it's good or bad, because I'm trying not to use those words. But what I can say is that it is an experience that will either hopefully expand our awareness and catapult us to the next level of existence, of awareness, of evolution, of ascension, of just becoming more than what you thought you could be. And then there are those contracts or agreements with other souls that are karmic. And I don't like that word. I just want to say that, but I'm using it because a lot of people understand it. And so this is two souls that have maybe experienced a life together or an incarnation together. And they were like, you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm going to help wake you up. Or we're going to come back into meeting somehow as a friend, as a coworker, as a loved one, as a romantic partner, and even as a stranger. I've met people where it was like a one-time thing, and I thought, wow, that person jolted me, created awareness, made me stop and think in a way that no one else had. And I probably maybe only met this person one time and had a conversation or an experience with them once. And it can shift. And so when we make soul to soul agreements, like I was just talking about, how one soul and another soul say, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to show up in your life, and I'm going to be a catalyst, or I'm going to be a support. for your highest, for your greatest expression. Those are really more love-based agreements, because they're not negotiations to get you into a body. They're saying, when the time is right, I'm going to show up. And when those happen and they complete, they just dissipate. They're done. In the Akashic records, check, check. These two souls agreed to come back together in some form. They did it. They exchanged what they needed. They activated what they needed. They sparked what they needed. And it's done. And we have those. We have a lot of them, actually. Most of the people in your life are not new souls to you. And so as you are a soul and you have these experiences, you're meeting and mixing with lots of different energies all the time. And it's kind of an interesting thought to think about, like the tree, the animal, the bird, the land are all souls, alive, having experiences, a flower, a bug. Like, why are you drawn to what you're drawn to? Why do you love a certain animal, a certain color, a certain flower, a certain smell, a certain type of tree, a certain landscape? Why do you love it? Why are you drawn to it? Why are you like pulled towards it? These could all be soul agreements from one soul to another soul. Contract is something that tends to have a greater purpose and I believe is part of the divine plan for your incarnation. So if your ancestor says, in our DNA, in our lineage, we hold addiction. I think that's true for a lot of people that have addiction. I do think it's generational. And there is a cycle breaker, a person that's born into the family, maybe even more than one, but usually one, that says, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to break the cycle and I'm going to heal. I'm going to take it on and I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to own it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to process it on behalf of my ancestors. And when we do that, when you say no more to a repetitive pattern that you've seen in your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents, if you've had the opportunity to meet your great grandparents, if there is a level of, well, I won't even, in my mind, I'm thinking there's a thread in the family DNA that says we have suffered, we have had the experience of, we have succumbed to an addiction, something, right? It could be depression. It could be a way of living, as a mindset, a scarcity belief that we have to work hard and then we don't even really achieve much, or we'll never. Some families have a lot of identity, right? Where they see the world as a challenge and they see themselves as a victim. Sometimes it's caused by this incarnation's experiences, but maybe it's soul contract. Maybe it's an agreement that someone in the family would stop the chaos, would stop the ongoing ancestral DNA lineage based things that actually don't support our highest life expression. So if any of this is resonating with you, if any of this is making you think or ponder that maybe something in your own makeup and as a soul, the best way to explore it is to, one, ponder, is this true? Could this be that? Do some research on your own. There's a lot of information out there. I will just warn you that a lot of that information doesn't always resonate. So don't blindly accept or agree with something that you read about it. Use your own intuition, your own wisdom, and look at your family. Look around your family. Look to the generation that is, and to the ones that brought that generation into beingness, and the ones that brought that generation into beingness. Are there patterns? Are there conditions? Are there repetitive things that it seems like everybody's dealing with? Then I would encourage you to have an Akashic record reading. I would encourage you to either do some kind of meditative work on this where you actually go in and you think and breathe, or if you do journeying work, Akashic records are always great because sometimes the ancestors never met for you to actually keep what was passed down. Sometimes it was just negotiations. Hey, take this on. You're going to get this body. And then when you get here, they're really hoping that you wake up and say, oh, I don't actually have to deal with that. That's not actually mine to deal with. And so we like to clear and we like to release it back to the ancestors. And every time I've ever done that, the ancestors have been, oh, thank you for giving me this back. It's not yours to deal with. Or sometimes they're a little bit more like, you got it, you can deal with it. Not so. It's your choice. When you come into awareness, it is your choice. And so we can renegotiate, we can nullify, and we can simply put all of that energy, all of that conditioning or belief or contract related information, we can simply put it back at the feet of the person, the ancestor that gave it to us, because it's not ours, and maybe they don't want to take it back, but maybe they will. Honestly, it's kind of a thing that you'll only know when you're in it. And when you start to talk to your ancestors and to the other souls, sometimes again, those soul agreements, soul to soul, are not actually in alignment with us in this incarnation. And we can say no more, and we can cut that agreement. Because remember, you are a sovereign being. You are a soul and you are sovereign. So it is your choice. So I want to thank you for listening to the perspectives and thoughts that I have shared with you today. I know that they're not always popular. This one is a little bit more intense or big or maybe more unfamiliar. So sit with it, find your truth, and feel free to contact me. Right on social media, send me a text, go to my website. And so again, I just want to say thank you for joining me. And thank you for supporting a Waking Moment podcast. I appreciate you, and I wish you a beautiful next moment.